What if the key to a truly fulfilling retirement isn't found in financial plans or travel itineraries, but in the timeless wisdom of stories passed down through generations? Imagine sitting by a crackling fire, listening to tales that have shaped lives for centuries, each one offering a lesson that could transform how you see your golden years. Today, we're diving into 20 wisdom stories that hold the power to inspire, guide, and bring joy to your retirement journey. These aren't just stories, they're life lessons wrapped in narratives that resonate deeply, whether you're planning for retirement or already living it. From the patience of a farmer to the resilience of a cracked pot, each story carries a message that can help you navigate this new chapter with grace, purpose, and happiness. So grab a cup of tea, settle in, and let's explore how these 20 wisdom stories can light the way to a richer, more meaningful retirement. By the end of this video, you'll not only have a treasure trove of timeless tales, but also practical insights to make your retirement years truly golden. Let's begin. Now, let's begin with our first story, a tale as old as time, yet as relevant as ever: the farmer and the well. Picture a farmer, hardworking and diligent, who one day discovers that his well has run dry. Frustrated and worried, he rushes to his neighbor for advice. The neighbor, a wise old man, tells him to dig a new well, but to do so slowly and carefully, ensuring it's deep enough to withstand droughts. The farmer, eager for a quick fix, digs hastily and ends up with a shallow well that fails him when he needs it most. Disheartened, he returns to the wise man, who reminds him that patience and preparation are the keys to lasting success. This time, the farmer takes his time, digging deep and steady, and eventually finds a reliable source of water that sustains him for years to come. This story holds a powerful lesson for retirees. Just like the farmer, retirement is a time when the familiar, our careers, routines, and even our sense of purpose can feel like a dried-up well. It's easy to rush into decisions, whether it's spending savings too quickly or jumping into new ventures without proper planning. But the farmer's journey reminds us that patience and preparation are essential. Financial planning, for instance, isn't just about saving money, it's about creating a sustainable foundation that can weather life's uncertainties. Emotional resilience, too, plays a crucial role. Retirement often brings unexpected challenges, from health issues to shifts in relationships. By embracing these changes with grace and a steady hand, we can build a retirement that's not only secure but deeply fulfilling. So, as you step into this new chapter, remember the farmer and his well. Take the time to plan, to reflect, and to prepare. Whether it's setting aside savings, exploring new hobbies, or nurturing relationships, each step you take with care and intention will help you create a retirement that flows with abundance and peace. And with that, let's move to our next story, where we'll explore the battle within us between positivity and negativity and how it shapes our golden years. Now, turning to our next story, we delve into a timeless Native American tale that speaks to the heart of human nature: The Two Wolves. This story tells of an elder teaching his grandson about life. He explains that inside each of us there are two wolves constantly at war. One wolf represents negativity, anger, envy, regret, and fear. The other embodies positivity, love, joy, gratitude, and hope. The grandson, curious, asks which wolf wins. The elder replies simply, "The one you feed." This story holds profound wisdom for retirees. As we step into this new phase of life, it's easy to focus on what we've lost: our careers, our youth, or even certain relationships. But just like the two wolves, our mindset is shaped by what we choose to nurture. Feeding the wolf of positivity means cultivating gratitude for the experiences we've had, finding joy in the present moment, and building meaningful connections with others. It's about shifting our focus from what's missing to what's still possible. Retirement offers a unique opportunity to redefine our priorities. Instead of dwelling on regrets or fears, we can choose to embrace the beauty of this stage. Simple practices like keeping a gratitude journal or spending time with loved ones can help us feed the positive wolf. Even in moments of challenge, focusing on the good, whether it's a kind word, a beautiful sunset, or a new hobby, can transform our outlook. So, as you navigate your golden years, remember the lesson of the two wolves. Every day, you have the power to choose which wolf to feed. By nurturing positivity, you create a life filled with joy, connection, and purpose. And with that, let's move forward to our next story, where we'll discover how even our imperfections can lead to unexpected beauty and fulfillment. Now, as we step into the next chapter of our journey, let's explore a story that reminds us of the beauty hidden within our imperfections, the cracked pot. This tale begins with a water bearer who carries two large pots every day, one on each end of a pole, to bring water from the river to his master's house. One of the pots is perfect, delivering a full portion of water each time. The other, however, has a crack, and by the time it reaches the house, half of its water has leaked out. For years, the cracked pot felt ashamed of its flaw, believing it was a failure compared to its perfect counterpart. One day, it finally spoke up, apologizing to the water bearer for its imperfection. But the water bearer smiled and asked the pot to notice the path they walked each day. On one side, where the cracked pot had been leaking, a beautiful trail of flowers had grown, nourished by the water that had spilled. The water bearer explained that he had always known about the crack and had planted seeds along that side of the path, knowing the pot's flaw would water them. Without the cracked pot, there would be no flowers to brighten the journey. This story holds a powerful lesson for retirees. Often, we focus on what we perceive as our shortcomings, whether it's a skill we've lost, a dream we didn't achieve, or a role we no longer fill. But just like the cracked pot, our so-called flaws can lead to unexpected beauty and purpose. Retirement is a time to embrace our imperfections and discover new ways to contribute. Maybe it's through sharing wisdom with younger generations, volunteering in ways that align with our passions, or simply bringing joy to others through small, meaningful acts. The cracked pot teaches us that what we see as weaknesses can become sources of strength and inspiration. It's not about being perfect, it's about finding value in who we are and what we can offer. So, as you reflect on your own journey, consider how your unique experiences and qualities, even the ones you might see as cracks, can create something beautiful in the world around you. And with that, let's move forward to our next story, where we'll learn the importance of letting go and allowing life to unfold naturally. Now, as we shift our focus to the next story, let's step into a tale that reminds us of the power of surrender and the beauty of life's natural flow. The Wise Old Man and the Butterfly. This story begins with a young boy who, while playing in a garden, notices a butterfly struggling to emerge from its cocoon. Concerned, he decides to help by gently opening the cocoon, thinking he's saving the butterfly from its struggle. But as the butterfly emerges, its wings are weak and crumpled, unable to fly. The boy watches in dismay as the butterfly spends the rest of its life crawling on the ground, never able to take flight. The wise old man, observing the scene, approaches the boy and explains that the struggle to break free from the cocoon is essential for the butterfly. It's through that effort that its wings grow strong enough to carry it into the sky. By trying to help, the boy had unknowingly robbed the butterfly of its chance to develop the strength it needed to soar. This story holds a profound lesson for retirees. Often, we feel the need to control every aspect of our lives, especially as we transition into retirement. We may try to micromanage our time, our relationships, or even our sense of purpose. But just like the butterfly, there's a natural process to life that requires patience and trust. Trying to force outcomes or rush through challenges can sometimes do more harm than good. Retirement is a time to let go of the need to control everything and instead embrace the present moment. It's about allowing life to unfold at its own pace, trusting that the struggles we face are shaping us in ways we may not yet understand. Whether it's adjusting to a new routine, navigating changes in health, or finding new ways to connect with others, the key is to approach these experiences with openness and curiosity. The wise old man's lesson reminds us that sometimes the best thing we can do is step back and let life happen. By releasing our grip on control, we create space for growth, resilience, and unexpected joys. So, as you reflect on your own journey, consider how you might practice letting go, whether it's by embracing uncertainty, savoring the small moments, or trusting that the challenges you face are preparing you for something greater. And with that, let's move forward to our next story, where we'll explore the importance of contentment and finding joy in the life we already have. Now, as we step into the next chapter of our journey, let's explore a story that speaks to the heart of contentment, the stonecutter. This tale begins with a humble stonecutter who spends his days chiseling away at rocks, shaping them into beautiful structures. Though his work is honest and fulfilling, he often finds himself gazing at the lives of others, wishing he could trade places with those who seem to have more. One day, as he sits beneath the shade of a tree, he looks up at the towering mountain and thinks, "If only I were as strong and mighty as that mountain, I would never feel small or insignificant again." To his astonishment, a mystical voice grants his wish, and he transforms into the mountain. At first, he feels powerful and unshakable, but soon he notices the sun beating down on him, scorching his surface. He thinks, "The sun is far stronger than I am. If only I could be the sun." Once again, his wish is granted, and he becomes the sun, radiating light and warmth across the land. But as he shines brightly, he notices a cloud drifting by, blocking his rays. Frustrated, he wishes to become the cloud, and so he does. Now, as the cloud, he rains down on the earth, feeling a sense of control, until he sees the wind blowing him away. "The wind is more powerful than I am," he thinks, and he wishes to become the wind. As the wind, he blows fiercely, scattering leaves and bending trees, but then he encounters a massive rock that stands unmoved. "This rock is stronger than I am," he realizes, and he wishes to become the rock. Finally, as the rock, he feels indestructible until one day, he hears the sound of a chisel striking his surface. Looking down, he sees a stonecutter chipping away at him, shaping him into something new. And in that moment, he understands the truth. There is no end to desire, and true contentment lies in appreciating the life you already have. This story holds a powerful lesson for retirees. It's easy to look at others and wish for their lives, their achievements, or their circumstances. But the truth is, no matter where we are or what we have, there will always be something more to desire. The key to a fulfilling retirement isn't in chasing after what others have. It's in finding joy and gratitude in the life we've built. Whether it's the relationships we've nurtured, the experiences we've gathered, or the simple pleasures of each day, contentment comes from within. Retirement is a time to reflect on what truly matters and to let go of the endless cycle of comparison. It's about embracing the present moment and recognizing the value of our own journey. Just like the stonecutter, we may sometimes feel the pull of envy or dissatisfaction, but the real power lies in choosing to see the beauty in our own lives. So, as you move forward, take a moment to appreciate where you are right now. Celebrate the small victories, cherish the connections you've made, and find peace in the knowledge that your life, just as it is, holds its own unique magic. And with that, let's turn our attention to the next story, where we'll discover the importance of letting go of resentment and finding inner peace. Now, as we shift our focus to the next story, let's explore a timeless Zen tale that offers profound wisdom for finding inner peace, the empty boat. This story begins with a man rowing his small boat down a quiet river. The day is calm, the water is still, and he's enjoying the serenity of the moment. But suddenly, another boat appears, drifting toward him. It's moving fast, and before he can react, it crashes into his boat. Furious, the man shouts at the other boat, demanding to know why the rower wasn't paying attention. But as he looks closer, he realizes something startling. The boat is empty. There's no one inside. It was simply a drift carried by the current. In that moment, his anger dissolves. He realizes there was no one to blame, no one to direct his frustration toward. The boat wasn't acting out of malice or carelessness. It was just an empty vessel moved by the forces of nature. This story holds a powerful lesson for retirees. So often in life, we encounter situations that upset us, unexpected challenges, disappointments, or even conflicts with others. It's easy to direct our anger outward, blaming others or external circumstances for our frustrations. But what if, like the empty boat, these challenges aren't personal? What if they're simply part of the natural ebb and flow of life? The key takeaway here is that much of our suffering comes from how we react to these situations. When we hold onto resentment or blame, we create unnecessary stress and tension within ourselves. But when we learn to let go, to see challenges as neutral events rather than personal attacks, we free ourselves from the burden of anger. This doesn't mean ignoring problems or avoiding difficult emotions. It means approaching them with a sense of calm and clarity, recognizing that we have the power to choose how we respond. For retirees, this story is especially relevant. Retirement can bring its own set of challenges, changes in routine, health concerns, or even feelings of isolation. It's natural to feel frustrated or upset at times, but holding on to those emotions can weigh heavily on our hearts. The empty boat reminds us that inner peace comes from within. It's about releasing the need to control or blame, and instead focusing on what we can control: our own thoughts, actions, and attitudes. So, as you navigate the waters of retirement, remember the empty boat. When life feels turbulent, take a moment to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, is this situation truly personal, or is it simply part of life's current? By letting go of resentment and embracing a mindset of acceptance, you'll find greater peace and resilience, no matter what challenges come your way. And with that, let's move forward to our next story, where we'll uncover the importance of patience and trusting the process. Now, as we step into the next chapter of our journey, let's explore a story that beautifully illustrates the power of patience and trust: the bamboo and the fern. This tale begins with a gardener who plants two seeds in the same soil. One seed grows into a fern, sprouting quickly and covering the ground with lush green leaves. The other seed, however, seems to do nothing at all. Days turn into weeks and weeks into months, but the second seed shows no signs of life. The gardener tends to both plants with equal care, watering them and ensuring they receive sunlight. But while the fern thrives, the soil where the second seed was planted remains barren. Years pass, and just when the gardener is about to give up, something remarkable happens. The second seed finally begins to grow, not slowly but with astonishing speed. In just a few weeks, it shoots up to become a towering bamboo plant, reaching heights that far surpass the fern. The bamboo's roots, which had been growing silently underground all those years, had been preparing it for this moment of rapid growth. What seemed like inactivity was actually a period of deep, unseen development. This story holds a profound lesson for retirees. In retirement, it's easy to feel frustrated when progress seems slow, whether it's learning a new skill, building a new routine, or even finding a sense of purpose. We might compare ourselves to others who seem to be thriving effortlessly, like the fern, and wonder why our own journey feels stagnant. But the bamboo reminds us that growth often happens beneath the surface in ways we can't always see. Just because we don't see immediate results doesn't mean nothing is happening. Retirement is a time of transformation, and like the bamboo, this transformation takes time. It requires patience, trust, and the understanding that every small effort contributes to something greater. Whether you're pursuing a new hobby, reconnecting with old passions, or simply adjusting to a new rhythm of life, remember that progress isn't always linear. Some days it might feel like you're stuck in the soil, but beneath the surface, you're laying the foundation for something extraordinary. So, as you navigate this season of life, take heart in the story of the bamboo and the fern. Trust the process even when it feels slow. Celebrate the small steps, knowing that they're part of a larger journey. And when the time is right, you'll find yourself growing in ways you never imagined, reaching heights that make every moment of waiting worthwhile. With this in mind, let's turn our attention to the next story, where we'll discover how even the smallest actions can create ripples of change. Now, as we shift our focus to the next story, let's step onto a quiet beach where the waves gently kiss the shore. Here, we find a young child walking along the sand, bending down every few steps to pick up a starfish and toss it back into the ocean. An older man, watching from a distance, approaches the child and asks, "Why are you doing this?" "There are thousands of starfish washed up on this beach. You can't possibly save them all. What difference does it make?" The child pauses, picks up another starfish and throws it into the water. With a smile, they reply, "It made a difference to that one." This simple yet profound story, often called the Starfish Thrower, carries a powerful message for retirees. In retirement, it's easy to feel like the challenges of the world are too big, too overwhelming, or too far beyond our control. We might think, what can I possibly do to make a difference at this stage of life? But the child on the beach reminds us that even the smallest actions can have a meaningful impact. It's not about solving every problem or changing the entire world. It's about making a difference where you can, one step at a time. For retirees, this story is an invitation to embrace the power of small, intentional acts. Maybe it's volunteering at a local community center, mentoring a young person, or simply sharing a kind word with a neighbor. These actions might seem small, but they ripple outward, touching lives in ways we may never fully see. The beauty of this story lies in its reminder that no act of kindness or effort is ever wasted. Even in our later years, we have the ability to contribute, to inspire, and to leave a positive mark on the world around us. Retirement is often seen as a time to slow down, and while that's true in many ways, it's also a season rich with opportunities to give back. The Starfish Thrower encourages us to focus not on the scale of our actions, but on their sincerity and impact. Whether it's through volunteering, sharing wisdom, or simply being present for others, every effort counts. It's about finding joy in the act of giving, no matter how small it may seem. So, as you reflect on this story, consider how you might be a starfish thrower in your own life. What small, meaningful actions can you take to make a difference? Remember, it's not about the number of starfish you save, it's about the difference you make to each one. With this in mind, let's move forward to the next story, where we'll explore how letting go of emotional burdens can lighten our journey and bring us greater peace. Now, as we step into the next chapter of our journey, let's visit a quiet village where a wise woman sits by a river holding a large stone in her hand. A traveler approaches her, burdened by the weight of his past mistakes and regrets. He asks the woman why she carries such a heavy stone, and she responds by inviting him to sit beside her. She tells him that the stone represents the emotional burdens we carry, our regrets, grudges, and unresolved pain. She then asks the traveler to hold the stone for a moment. As he does, he feels its weight pressing down on him, just as his own regrets have weighed on his heart for years. The wise woman explains that carrying this stone, much like holding onto past regrets, only serves to exhaust us. She gently takes the stone back and tosses it into the river, where it sinks and disappears beneath the water. Letting go, she says, is not about forgetting the past, but about freeing yourself from its weight so you can move forward with lightness and peace. This story, The Wise Woman's Stone, offers a profound lesson for retirees. In this stage of life, it's natural to reflect on the past, the choices we made, the paths we didn't take, and the moments we wish we could change. But holding onto these regrets can prevent us from fully enjoying the present and embracing the opportunities that retirement brings. The wise woman's message is clear: the past cannot be changed, but we can choose to release its hold on us. For retirees, this story is a gentle reminder to focus on the present moment. It's about forgiving ourselves for what we cannot undo and finding peace in the here and now. Whether it's through journaling, meditation, or simply practicing gratitude, there are many ways to let go of emotional burdens and create space for joy and fulfillment. The act of releasing these weights doesn't mean ignoring the past. It means honoring it by not allowing it to define our future. As you reflect on this story, consider what stones you might be carrying. What regrets or unresolved emotions are weighing on your heart? How can you begin to release them, even if it's just a little at a time? Remember, the goal isn't to erase the past, but to lighten your load so you can walk forward with greater ease and clarity. With this in mind, let's turn our attention to the next story, where we'll explore the power of flexibility and adaptability in navigating life's changes. Now, as we shift our focus to the next story, let's step into a serene forest where two very different plants grow side by side, a mighty oak tree and a slender reed. The oak stands tall and proud, its roots deep and its branches reaching high into the sky. The reed, on the other hand, sways gently with the breeze, bending and flexing with every gust of wind. One day, a fierce storm sweeps through the forest. The oak, rigid and unyielding, tries to stand firm against the powerful winds. But its strength becomes its downfall. The storm's force is too great, and the oak is uprooted, crashing to the ground. Meanwhile, the reed bends and sways, adapting to the storm's intensity. When the storm passes, the reed remains standing, unharmed and resilient. This timeless tale, The Oak and the Reed, teaches us a valuable lesson about the power of flexibility and adaptability. For retirees, this story holds particular significance. Life after retirement often brings changes, whether in health, relationships, or daily routines. Like the oak, we might be tempted to resist these changes, clinging to the way things used to be. But as the story shows, rigidity can leave us vulnerable to life's storms. On the other hand, embracing flexibility allows us to navigate challenges with grace and resilience. Think about the changes you've faced in retirement. Perhaps you've had to adjust to a new pace of life, adapt to shifts in your health, or find new ways to connect with loved ones. These transitions can feel overwhelming, but the story of the reed reminds us that bending doesn't mean breaking. It means finding strength in adaptability, learning to flow with life's currents rather than fighting against them. This mindset can help us not only survive but thrive in the face of change. For example, if you're experiencing changes in your physical health, flexibility might mean exploring new ways to stay active or seeking support when needed. If relationships evolve, it could involve finding new ways to connect or embracing new social opportunities. And if your lifestyle shifts, adaptability might mean discovering new hobbies or redefining what fulfillment looks like in this chapter of life. The key is to approach these changes with an open mind and a willingness to adjust, just as the reed does. As you reflect on this story, consider how you can cultivate flexibility in your own life. What changes are you currently navigating, and how can you approach them with the resilience of the reed? Remember, it's not about giving up your strength or values. It's about finding new ways to adapt and grow. With this in mind, let's move forward to the next story, where we'll explore how focusing on the present moment can bring clarity and peace in retirement. Now, as we step into the next chapter of our journey, let's explore a story that invites us to reflect on life's most profound questions. This tale, written by Leo Tolstoy, revolves around a king who becomes consumed by three questions. What is the most important time? Who is the most important person? And what is the most important thing to do? Determined to find the answers, the king seeks wisdom from a wise hermit living in the mountains. What unfolds is a lesson that resonates deeply, especially for those in retirement. The king arrives at the hermit's humble dwelling, only to find him digging in his garden. The hermit, frail and elderly, listens as the king poses his questions, but instead of answering directly, he continues his work. The king, frustrated yet patient, decides to help the hermit with his labor. As they work together, a wounded man stumbles into the garden, and the king tends to his injuries, saving his life. It's only after these events that the hermit reveals the answers to the king's questions. The most important time, the hermit explains, is now the present moment. The most important person is the one you are with, and the most important thing to do is to help that person. For retirees, this story offers a powerful reminder to focus on what truly matters. Retirement often brings a shift in priorities, and it's easy to get caught up in regrets about the past or worries about the future. But Tolstoy's story encourages us to embrace the present, to be fully present with the people around us, and to find meaning in acts of kindness and service. Consider how this applies to your own life. Are there moments when you find yourself dwelling on what's already happened or anxiously planning for what's to come? The story of the king and the hermit invites us to pause and ask ourselves, how can I be more present in my daily life? How can I deepen my connections with the people I care about? And how can I use my time and energy to make a positive difference, no matter how small? For retirees, this might mean savoring quiet moments with loved ones, volunteering in your community, or simply being there for a friend in need. It's about recognizing that the present moment is where life happens, and that the people around us are the ones who truly matter. By focusing on these principles, we can find greater fulfillment and purpose in our golden years. As we move forward, let's carry this wisdom with us. The next story will take us on a journey of self-discovery, reminding us that sometimes the answers we seek are closer than we think. Now, as we shift our gaze to a new horizon, let's explore a story that reminds us of the beauty in what we already have. This tale, often referred to as the Golden Windows, follows a young boy who lives in a simple farmhouse. Every evening, he gazes across the valley at a distant house with windows that gleam like gold in the setting sun. The boy becomes convinced that the people living there must have a life far more magical and fulfilling than his own. Determined to see this wondrous place up close, he sets off on a journey across the valley. After a long and tiring walk, the boy finally arrives at the house with the golden windows. But to his surprise, the house is old and worn, its windows plain and unremarkable. Confused, he knocks on the door, and a kind woman invites him inside. As they talk, the boy realizes something extraordinary. This is the very house he had been looking at from his own home. The golden windows he had admired were simply the reflection of the setting sun on his own farmhouse windows. The woman smiles and tells him, sometimes what we're searching for is right where we started. For retirees, this story holds a profound lesson. It's easy to fall into the trap of comparing our lives to others, especially in a world where social media often highlights only the best moments of people's lives. We might look at someone else's retirement and think, if only I had their lifestyle, their adventures, or their relationships, I'd be happier. But just like the boy in the story, we often fail to see the beauty and value in our own lives. Retirement is a time to reflect on what truly matters: our health, our relationships, and the simple joys that make life meaningful. Instead of longing for what others have, this story encourages us to appreciate the unique blessings in our own lives. Maybe it's the quiet mornings spent sipping coffee on the porch, the laughter shared with grandchildren, or the satisfaction of pursuing a long-forgotten hobby. These are the golden windows in our own lives, the moments that shine brightly when we take the time to notice them. So, how can we apply this wisdom? Start by taking stock of what you already have. Make a list of the things that bring you joy, the people who enrich your life, and the experiences that have shaped you. When you find yourself comparing your life to someone else's, pause and remind yourself of your own golden windows. They may not be as flashy or as far away as you think. They're right here, waiting for you to see them. As we prepare to move forward, let's carry this lesson with us. The next story will take us on a journey of simplicity, reminding us that sometimes less truly is more. Now, as we step into the next chapter of our journey, let's dive into a story that reminds us of the power of simplicity. This tale, known as The Wise Fisherman, begins with a wealthy businessman who stumbles upon a small coastal village during his travels. There, he notices a fisherman sitting by the shore, contentedly mending his nets. The businessman, intrigued by the man's relaxed demeanor, strikes up a conversation. The fisherman explains that he spends his mornings fishing, catching just enough to feed his family and sell a little at the market. In the afternoons, he enjoys time with his loved ones, takes long walks along the beach, and often naps in the shade of a palm tree. The businessman, puzzled by this simple lifestyle, suggests that the fisherman could expand his business. If you worked harder, he says, you could buy more boats, hire workers, and eventually build a fishing empire. Then you'd be rich and could retire to enjoy life. The fisherman smiles and asks, "And what would I do then?" The businessman replies, "You could spend your days relaxing, spending time with your family, and enjoying the beauty of the sea." The fisherman chuckles and says, "But that's exactly what I'm doing now." This story holds a powerful lesson for retirees. In a world that often equates success with wealth and possessions, it's easy to lose sight of what truly brings happiness. The fisherman's wisdom lies in his ability to recognize that he already has everything he needs: a life filled with purpose, love, and simple pleasures. For those in retirement, this story encourages a shift in perspective. Instead of chasing more money, more things, more status, it invites us to focus on what we already have and what truly matters. Retirement is a time to redefine success. It's an opportunity to step away from the hustle and bustle of a career-driven life and embrace a slower, more intentional way of living. Perhaps it's spending more time with family, pursuing a passion project, or simply savoring the quiet moments that often go unnoticed. The fisherman's story reminds us that fulfillment doesn't come from accumulating wealth, but from finding joy in the present and appreciating the richness of a life well lived. So, how can we apply this wisdom? Start by reflecting on what brings you genuine happiness. Is it the laughter of grandchildren, the satisfaction of a home-cooked meal, or the peace of a morning walk? Make a conscious effort to prioritize these moments over the pursuit of material possessions. When you feel the urge to compare your life to others or strive for more, remember the fisherman's contentment. True wealth lies not in what we own, but in how we choose to live. As we prepare to move forward, let's carry this lesson with us. The next story will take us on a journey of resilience, showing us how even the smallest actions can create ripples of change. Now, as we venture into the next story, let's explore a tale that reveals how often we hold ourselves back without even realizing it. This story, known as The Elephant Rope, begins with a curious observation. A man walking through a circus notices a massive elephant tied to a small, flimsy rope. The elephant, strong enough to uproot trees and break free with ease, stands quietly, not even attempting to escape. Puzzled, the man asks the trainer why such a powerful creature doesn't simply break the rope. The trainer explains that when the elephant was young, it was tied with the same rope. Back then, the rope was strong enough to hold it. The elephant tried to break free but couldn't. Over time, it learned to believe that the rope was unbreakable. Now, even as a fully grown adult with immense strength, the elephant doesn't try to escape because it's convinced it can't. This story is a powerful metaphor for the limiting beliefs we carry with us, often without even realizing it. Just like the elephant, many of us have internalized ideas about what we can or cannot do, ideas that may have been true at one point in our lives but no longer serve us. Retirement is a time when these beliefs can feel especially heavy. Thoughts like, "I'm too old to learn something new," "It's too late to start over," or "I'm not capable of pursuing my dreams," can keep us tied to that small rope, preventing us from living life to its fullest. But here's the truth, the rope is only as strong as we believe it to be. Retirement is the perfect opportunity to challenge those beliefs and discover what we're truly capable of. Maybe it's learning a new skill, traveling to a place you've always dreamed of, or even starting a small business. The key is to recognize that the limitations we feel are often self-imposed. They're not real, they're just old habits of thinking that no longer apply. So how can we break free from these limiting beliefs? Start by identifying them. What are the thoughts or fears that hold you back? Write them down and ask yourself, is this really true, or is it just an old story I've been telling myself? Next, take small, deliberate steps to challenge those beliefs. If you've always wanted to paint but think you're not artistic, sign up for a beginner's class. If you've dreamed of writing a book but feel it's too late, start with a single paragraph. Each small step you take will help you realize that the rope isn't as strong as you thought. The elephant story reminds us that we are far more capable than we often give ourselves credit for. Retirement isn't the end of growth, it's the beginning of a new chapter where we can redefine what's possible. By letting go of limiting beliefs, we open ourselves up to a world of new opportunities and experiences. As we move forward, let's carry this lesson with us. The next story will show us how even the smallest actions can create ripples of change, proving that it's never too late to make a difference. Now, as we step into the next story, let's explore a tale that reminds us how perspective shapes our reality. This story, known as The Two Travelers and the Tree, begins with two weary travelers walking through a vast desert. After hours of trudging under the scorching sun, they finally spot a lone tree in the distance. Relieved, they make their way toward it, hoping for shade and rest. When they reach the tree, the first traveler looks up and sighs. This tree is useless. It barely has any leaves, and the shade it offers is so thin. What good is it to us? Disappointed, he sits down, grumbling about the heat and the long journey ahead. The second traveler, however, looks at the same tree and smiles. This tree is a blessing, he says. Even with just a few leaves, it's giving us some relief from the sun. And look, there's even a small patch of grass here where we can rest. It's exactly what we needed. Grateful, he settles down, feeling refreshed and ready to continue the journey. This simple yet profound story highlights how two people can experience the same situation in completely different ways. For retirees, this lesson is especially meaningful. Life in retirement, like that tree, can be interpreted in countless ways. Some might focus on what's missing, the challenges, the changes, or the things they can no longer do. Others, however, choose to see the opportunities, the small joys, and the new possibilities that come with this stage of life. The key takeaway here is that our outlook shapes our reality. When we focus on the positive aspects of life, even the smallest blessings can bring us joy and fulfillment. Retirement is a time when we have the freedom to choose how we see the world. Will we focus on the thin shade, or will we appreciate the relief it provides? Will we dwell on what's lost, or will we celebrate what's gained? This story encourages us to cultivate an optimistic mindset. It's not about ignoring life's challenges, but about choosing to see the good alongside them. Maybe it's the extra time to spend with loved ones, the chance to pursue a long-forgotten hobby, or the opportunity to simply slow down and enjoy the present moment. By shifting our perspective, we can find joy and meaning in even the simplest things. So, how can we practice this in our own lives? Start by noticing where your focus tends to go. Are you more like the first traveler, quick to see what's lacking? Or are you like the second, able to find gratitude in the small things? Try keeping a daily gratitude journal, writing down 3 things you're thankful for each day. Over time, this practice can help rewire your brain to naturally seek out the positive. The story of the two travelers reminds us that life is a matter of perspective. In retirement, as in all stages of life, we have the power to choose how we see the world. By focusing on the positive, we can create a richer, more fulfilling experience for ourselves and those around us. As we move forward, let's carry this lesson with us. The next story will show us how even the smallest acts of kindness can create ripples of change, proving that it's never too late to make a difference. Now, as we journey into the next tale, let's uncover a story that reminds us of the power of resilience and creative thinking. This is the story of the wise donkey, a simple yet profound lesson in turning adversity into opportunity. One day, a farmer's donkey accidentally fell into an old, dry well. The farmer, hearing the donkey's cries, rushed to the scene. He tried everything to pull the donkey out, but the well was too deep and the donkey too heavy. After hours of effort, the farmer realized it was impossible to save the donkey. Heartbroken, he decided the only solution was to bury the well, putting the donkey out of its misery. The farmer began shoveling dirt into the well. At first, the donkey panicked, braying loudly as the dirt fell on its back, but then something remarkable happened. The donkey started shaking off the dirt and stepping on top of it. With each shovel of dirt that fell, the donkey shook it off and took a step up. Slowly but surely, the donkey rose higher and higher until it finally climbed out of the well, free and unharmed. This story is a powerful metaphor for how we can handle challenges in life. The donkey could have given up, overwhelmed by the dirt being thrown its way. Instead, it used the very thing meant to bury it as a stepping stone to freedom. For retirees, this lesson is especially relevant. Life after retirement can bring unexpected challenges, health issues, financial concerns, or even feelings of isolation. But like the donkey, we have the ability to turn these challenges into opportunities for growth and resilience. The key takeaway here is that adversity doesn't have to define us. Instead, it can be the very thing that helps us rise above. When faced with difficulties, we can choose to shake off the negativity, step up, and keep moving forward. Retirement is a time when we may encounter new obstacles, but it's also a time when we can tap into our creativity and resourcefulness to find solutions. So, how can we apply this lesson in our own lives? Start by reframing challenges as opportunities. Instead of seeing a problem as a dead end, ask yourself, how can I use this situation to grow or learn something new? Maybe it's finding a new hobby that brings joy, reconnecting with old friends, or even volunteering to help others. By adopting a mindset of resilience, we can transform setbacks into stepping stones. The story of the wise donkey reminds us that even in the face of adversity, we have the power to rise above. It's not about avoiding challenges, but about finding creative ways to overcome them. Retirement is a time to embrace this wisdom, to see every obstacle as a chance to grow stronger and more resilient. As we move forward, let's carry this lesson with us. The next story will show us how humility and gratitude can enrich our lives, proving that even the simplest acts of kindness can leave a lasting impact. Now, as we step into the next chapter of our journey, let's explore a tale that shines a light on the transformative power of humility and gratitude. This is the story of the King's Feast, a timeless lesson in appreciating life's simple joys and the profound impact of giving back. Once there was a king who loved to host grand feasts for his people. These events were lavish, filled with the finest foods, music, and entertainment. The king took great pride in these celebrations, believing they showcased his generosity and wealth. One day, as the king prepared for another feast, a wise old man approached him. The old man, dressed in simple robes, asked the king a question that would change his perspective forever. "Your Majesty," the old man said, "what is the true purpose of these feasts? Is it to impress your people or to truly serve them?" The king, taken aback, paused to reflect. He had never considered this before. The old man continued, "True generosity comes not from showing off, but from giving with a humble heart." The simplest acts of kindness often leave the deepest impact. Inspired by the old man's words, the king decided to do something different. Instead of hosting another extravagant feast, he invited his people to a simple gathering. There were no grand decorations or expensive dishes, just bread, soup, and the warmth of shared company. To his surprise, the people were overjoyed. They laughed, shared stories, and thanked the king for creating a space where they felt truly valued and connected. This story teaches us that the greatest joys in life often come from the simplest moments. For retirees, this is a powerful reminder to appreciate the small, everyday blessings. A quiet morning with a cup of coffee, a walk in the park, or a heartfelt conversation with a loved one. It's not about the grandeur of what we have, but the gratitude we feel for what we already possess. The King's Feast also highlights the importance of giving back. In retirement, many of us have the time and resources to make a difference in the lives of others. Whether it's volunteering, mentoring, or simply lending a listening ear, these acts of kindness can bring immense fulfillment. Giving back doesn't require wealth or extravagance. It only requires a willing heart and a desire to make someone else's day a little brighter. So, how can we apply this lesson in our own lives? Start by practicing gratitude daily. Take a moment each day to reflect on the things you're thankful for, no matter how small. Then, look for ways to give back to your community or loved ones. It could be as simple as sharing a meal, offering a kind word, or helping someone in need. By embracing humility and gratitude, we can find deeper meaning and joy in our golden years. The story of the King's Feast reminds us that true happiness lies not in what we have, but in how we share it with others. As we move forward, let's carry this wisdom with us, finding joy in the simple things and making a difference wherever we can. With this lesson in mind, our next story will take us on a journey of perspective, showing us how a shift in how we see the world can transform our lives in profound ways. Now, as we shift our focus to the next story, let's explore a tale that reveals the profound power of perspective. This is the story of the wise man's advice, a timeless reminder that how we see the world can shape our experiences in ways we might never expect. Once, in a small village, there lived a wise man known for his ability to offer guidance that transformed lives. One day, a young man came to him, deeply troubled by the challenges he faced. "Life feels so heavy," the young man said. "Everywhere I look, I see problems and obstacles. How can I find peace when everything seems so difficult?" The wise man listened patiently, then handed the young man a glass of water. "Hold this," he said. The young man took the glass, unsure of what was happening. After a few moments, the wise man asked, "How heavy does this glass feel?" "Not heavy at all," the young man replied. The wise man nodded. "Now hold it for an hour." The young man hesitated but obeyed. As time passed, the glass began to feel heavier and heavier. His arm grew tired and he struggled to keep it steady. Finally, the wise man spoke again. "What do you notice now?" "The glass feels so heavy," the young man admitted. "I can barely hold it anymore." The wise man smiled. This glass is like your challenges. At first, they may seem light, but the longer you hold onto them without letting go, the heavier they become. The key is not to carry them endlessly, but to set them down when you can, to rest and to see them from a new perspective. This story teaches us that challenges are a natural part of life, but their weight depends on how we carry them. For retirees, this is a powerful lesson in reframing difficulties and focusing on the bigger picture. Instead of dwelling on what feels overwhelming, we can choose to step back, rest, and see our struggles from a different angle. Perspective is everything. When we shift our focus from what's wrong to what's possible, we open ourselves to new solutions and opportunities. For example, instead of seeing retirement as an end, we can view it as a new beginning, a chance to explore passions, build deeper connections, and create meaningful experiences. The wise man's advice also reminds us to practice self-compassion. Just as the young man needed to set the glass down, we too need moments of rest and reflection. It's okay to take breaks, to ask for help, and to give ourselves grace when life feels heavy. So, how can we apply this wisdom in our own lives? Start by noticing when you're holding onto challenges for too long. Are you carrying worries or regrets that weigh you down? Take a step back, breathe, and ask yourself, how can I see this differently? Sometimes, simply shifting your perspective can lighten the load and reveal a path forward. The story of the wise man's advice reminds us that life's challenges are not meant to be carried forever. By reframing our struggles and focusing on the bigger picture, we can find peace, clarity, and renewed purpose in our golden years. With this lesson in mind, our next story will take us on a journey of resilience, showing us how even the smallest acts of courage can lead to extraordinary transformations. Now, as we step into the next chapter of our journey, let's explore a story that beautifully captures the essence of growth through struggle. This is the story of the butterfly's lesson, a powerful reminder that even the most difficult moments can lead to transformation and strength. One day, a young boy found a cocoon hanging from a tree branch. Curious, he watched as a tiny butterfly inside began to struggle, pushing and fighting to break free. The boy felt sorry for the butterfly, thinking how hard it must be to escape such a tight space. Wanting to help, he gently took a pair of scissors and carefully snipped open the cocoon, allowing the butterfly to emerge easily. At first, the boy was delighted. The butterfly was free, but as time passed, he noticed something troubling. The butterfly's wings were small and shriveled, and it couldn't fly. It could only crawl along the ground, unable to take to the skies. What the boy didn't realize was that the struggle to break free from the cocoon was a necessary part of the butterfly's development. The effort of pushing through the tight space forced fluid into its wings, strengthening them and preparing it for flight. By removing the struggle, the boy had unintentionally robbed the butterfly of its chance to grow strong and soar. This story holds a profound lesson for all of us, especially those in retirement. Just like the butterfly, we often face challenges that feel overwhelming or even unnecessary. But these struggles are not obstacles to avoid, they are opportunities to grow. For retirees, this might mean stepping out of comfort zones to try something new, whether it's learning a skill, pursuing a passion, or even navigating the emotional adjustments that come with this stage of life. It's easy to wish for an easier path, but the effort we put into overcoming challenges is what builds resilience, confidence, and a sense of accomplishment. Think about it, when we embrace the struggle, we give ourselves the chance to grow stronger, just like the butterfly's wings. Maybe it's taking up a new hobby, volunteering in the community, or even working through the emotional shifts that retirement can bring. Each challenge, no matter how small, is an opportunity to stretch ourselves and discover new strengths. The butterfly's lesson also reminds us to be patient with ourselves. Growth doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, effort, and sometimes a little discomfort. But the rewards, whether it's mastering a new skill, building deeper relationships, or finding a renewed sense of purpose, are worth the effort. So, how can we apply this wisdom in our own lives? Start by reframing challenges as opportunities. Instead of avoiding what feels difficult, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this help me grow? Remember, it's not about rushing through the struggle, but about embracing it as part of the journey. The story of the butterfly teaches us that struggle is not the enemy, it's the pathway to growth. By facing challenges with courage and patience, we can emerge stronger, more resilient, and ready to soar into the next chapter of our lives. With this lesson in mind, our final story will inspire us to reflect on the legacy we leave behind and the light we can bring to others, even in our later years. As we approach the final chapter of our journey through these wisdom stories, let's turn our attention to a tale that shines a light on the power of legacy and the importance of passing on what we've learned. This is the story of the old man and the lantern, a beautiful reminder that even in our later years, we have the ability to illuminate the path for others. In a small village nestled in the mountains, there lived an old man known for his kindness and wisdom. Every evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, he would take his lantern and walk through the village, lighting the way for those who needed it. Children playing late, travelers passing through, or neighbors returning home, all found comfort in the warm glow of his lantern. One night, a young boy asked him, "Why do you carry that lantern every evening? You know these streets as well as anyone. You don't need the light to find your way." The old man smiled and replied, "It's true, I don't need the light for myself. But I carry it for those who might stumble in the dark. If I can help even one person find their way, then my journey has meaning." This simple act of carrying the lantern became a symbol of the old man's generosity and his desire to guide others. Over time, the villagers began to see him not just as a kind neighbor, but as a beacon of hope and wisdom. For retirees, this story holds a profound message. Just like the old man, you've spent decades navigating life's twists and turns, gathering experiences, lessons, and insights along the way. Now, in this stage of life, you have the opportunity to share that light with others. Sharing your wisdom doesn't have to be grand or formal. It can be as simple as offering advice to a grandchild, mentoring a younger colleague, or volunteering in your community. Every story you tell, every lesson you pass on becomes a lantern for someone else, helping them navigate their own journey. Think about the skills you've honed, the challenges you've overcome, and the values you've lived by. These are the gifts you can share with the world. Whether it's teaching a craft, offering guidance, or simply being a listening ear, your experiences have the power to inspire and uplift others. The old man's lantern also reminds us that giving doesn't diminish us, it enriches us. When we share our light, we create connections, build relationships, and leave a lasting impact. It's a way to stay engaged, purposeful, and fulfilled, even in retirement. So, how can you carry your lantern? Start by reflecting on what you've learned over the years. What lessons would you want to pass on? Who in your life could benefit from your guidance? Remember, it's not about having all the answers, it's about offering what you can with an open heart. The story of the old man and the lantern teaches us that our light doesn't fade with age, it grows brighter when we share it. By lighting the way for others, we not only enrich their lives but also find deeper meaning and joy in our own. As we conclude this journey through 20 wisdom stories, let's carry this final lesson with us. Retirement isn't just a time to rest, it's a time to shine, to share, and to leave a legacy that lights the way for generations to come. As we bring this journey through 20 wisdom stories to a close, let's take a moment to reflect on the lessons we've gathered. From the farmer who taught us the value of patience and preparation, to the old man with the lantern who showed us the power of sharing our light, each story has offered a unique perspective on how to live a happier, more fulfilling retirement. These tales remind us that retirement isn't just about stepping away from work. It's about stepping into a new chapter filled with purpose, connection, and growth. Whether it's learning to embrace imperfections like the cracked pot, finding contentment like the stonecutter, or letting go of resentment like the man with the empty boat, each story holds a key to unlocking a more joyful and meaningful life. The wisdom we've explored isn't just for reflection, it's for action. Think about how these lessons can apply to your own life. What stories resonated with you the most? How can you use their teachings to navigate the challenges and opportunities of retirement? Perhaps it's by cultivating gratitude, pursuing new passions, or sharing your experiences with others. Now, we'd love to hear from you. Which of these 20 stories spoke to your heart? Do you have a favorite retirement tip or a personal story of your own to share? Let's continue the conversation in the comments below. Your insights could inspire someone else on their journey. If you found value in these stories, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a video, and if you enjoyed this one, give it a thumbs up to let us know. Together, let's keep exploring the wisdom that makes life richer, no matter what stage we're in. Thank you for joining us on this journey. May these stories light your path and bring you closer to the happiness and fulfillment you deserve. Until next time, keep shining your light and sharing your wisdom with the world.